Hey everybody, this is the June community Q&A session for Marvel Puzzle Quest. I'm the product manager on Marvel Puzzle Quest. My name is Kabir and
Hey, how's it going? I'm Will Jennings-Hess. I'm the lead designer on Marvel Puzzle Quest.
So we took a bunch of questions from the community and we're going to jump right in and start answering them. The biggest question that we got up front was about the price of roster slots, and we have some good news to announce there. We're starting very, very soon. I think by the time you see this, we'll be capping the price at roster slots at 1,000 hero points. So it won't go above that. We are looking at a couple features to sort of ease, I guess, the roster slot issue and find better solutions and more interesting ways of earning roster slots in the game. But we wanted to be able to do something and announce and basically cap it at a place where players feel that it's comfortable, and so that's what we're willing to do as a sort of short-term fix. I don't know how long it'll take before we have a permanent solution in there, but that's kind of what we had for addressing that shortly. Yep. I'll turn over to Will for the next issue.
Cool. Another question that we got a lot of. By the way, thank you for all the questions that you sent us. Super helpful to hear what you're thinking. I think the one that was asked most often was about how the enemies you're facing in story events, how the difficulty of those change over time. So we've got a system that looks at how people are doing against the missions and story events, and makes those missions easier or harder based on how the community is doing against them. Sometimes people call that, on the forums, call that community scaling. So that's that sometimes works great, that sometimes makes missions really hard. It sometimes means that if you get into an event early, you're going to be facing easier opponents than if you get in later. So we've been experimenting with tweaks to that system. It's a pretty complicated system. It's a little bit hard to evaluate because people have very different experiences with it based on like where they are in the game and what version of these missions they're seeing. So we're going to try a more radical experiment with that than we've been trying before, and that's we're gonna try shutting it off totally in a couple of events. You're gonna see a couple of a couple of story events over the next month where that system is turned off. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We haven't turned it off totally because we're worried that it might make those events grindier. It might increase the emphasis on having to play missions at a particular time in order to maximize your score. So it may be that this has some undesirable effects. It may be that this is awesome and nothing bad happens at all, and we can keep the system turned off. What we're going to do is we're going to try it with the system totally turned off for these couple of events. We're going to take a little while and look at the data, look both at what you say it feels like, and we're going to look at how people's win-loss rates change, and we're going to look at how people score in the event. We're going to look at all this different stuff. What that means is that the system will be turned off for these events that we try it in. We'll turn it back on. It'll be the way it is now for another couple of events as we look at that data and decide whether it's something we could turn off permanently or whether we want to make other changes.
Yeah. The only other thing I'll add is we'll make sure we do it on events where we're not awarding a new character.
Yeah.
We suspect there'll be a bunch of issues with those events. Things like progression awards almost guaranteed to be off. But
yeah, the progression awards will definitely be either too easy or too hard.
Yeah. One or the other.
One or the
other. Great. You want to talk about the next thing?
Yeah, what was the next thing? We're going to talk about, we're going to talk about scoring in versus events. So we got a bunch of questions also about some people are having a harder time reaching the same point scores that they were able to reach in Versus before some changes to matchmaking in season 13. That's not true of everybody. It's true of some people, but we wanted to make that a little bit easier for a bunch of people, and you've already seen a change in the game to address this, which is that now points are worth about the points for a given Versus mission are 50% more than they were before. So we're evaluating how that how that change affects the game, and we might make further tweaks in the future.
Cool. I'll tackle the next subject, which is the big question I think we got on the forums was about the 4-star transition and our plans for that. I think we definitely have a lot of stuff in the works where we're sort of in the past the idea stage, but not quite at the ready to announce features stage. But the two things I'd like to say were this summer at some point we'll be upping the drop rates on all the packs for 4 stars. So you'll have higher chances. I'm not sure when that'll roll out. It'll be in a season sometime this summer. I would not hoard tokens for it, but I know that saying that probably does nothing. The other thing that I can say actually, and it is a feature related that we're announcing, is it's a new feature in the game called the Vault. It's really, really cool. We can't wait to show you guys that it's a brand new sort of storefront. You're typically used to going in and buying tokens and drawing them. The vault works much like a vault. We put items in it, and then when you take an item out, it's no longer there. So the items that you draw from this are removed from the vault, and then everything that's left in there, you have higher odds of being able to pull.
Right. So that's the cool thing about pulling stuff out of the vault, is that if you don't get the super awesome thing, you're more likely to get it next time.
Yep, and that'll be actually probably introduced with Deadpool's Daily, and that will include 4 stars. So we're basically adding 4 stars into Deadpool's Daily, and you'll have higher draw rates as you go through the week. So you'll have those 5 days of Deadpool Daily where the items in the vault are static. Every day you'll start pulling stuff out of it, and you'll have higher odds for the items that you didn't pull.
Yeah, so we're super excited about that feature. Just to clarify another thing too, we're just making that change to the tokens in Deadpool's Daily.
Mm-hmm.
The other stores and tokens in the game are gonna stay the same, at least for now. That's like one small piece of the increased availability of 4 stars and the different ways to get them that you're going to see rolling out over the next year.
Yeah, I think, and we've also added them to events. We have a 4-star feature in the Gauntlet now, right?
Yeah. So you'll see all sorts of like little bits and places where 4 stars will show up where they didn't before.
Yeah, great.
What's next? Oh,
packs.
Yeah, packs, great. Another question we had was in part because of the changes to versus matchmaking, and I think just in general, people have asked whether there were any plans to change how health packs work in the game, and I'm happy to announce that yes, there are. We're going to be increasing the maximum number of health packs that you can hold from 5 to 10.
We doubled them.
So what that means is that what we're hoping that will mean for us, for people who play the game, is that if you prefer to play for a longer chunk of time in the evening, and in little chunks of time throughout the day, this will let that longer evening session be a little bit meatier, be twice as meaty, hopefully. To answer some questions you might have about that, right now it takes 36 minutes to regenerate a health pack. That's going to stay the same. So you get all five of your health packs back now in 3 hours. If you're at 0 health packs, you'll get your 10 health packs in 6 hours under the new system. You should be seeing that soon. We should be able to put that in the game pretty soon after this Q&A comes out.
Awesome. And then I think we had a bug fix to talk about.
Yeah, a great question. One of the great things about reading through all these questions is sometimes I find out about bugs that sometimes are really easy to fix. So there was a question about Scarlet Witch's Arcane Incantation, her blue ability. What that does is it sticks a countdown tile on the board that turns some tiles around it to purple when the countdown goes off. It was taking purple tiles and turning them to purple, and that's dumb, so we changed that. Now Arcane Incantation will only turn not purple tiles to purple.
Yep.
Last item, another fairly common question that we got was about the progression rewards in the Shield Simulator. By the Shield Simulator, I mean that event that runs throughout a whole season. It's the event where you don't lose very many points when somebody beats you. There are some really high progression awards that you can work through over the course of a season. Our original vision for that was that was going to be, it was like Shield training. We were hoping that that would be like a good place for new players to show up and work through, because it doesn't hurt very much when you lose. And so we designed this series of progression awards that give those players a whole ton of different 1-star abilities, and then moving through 2 stars and 3 stars. One thing we're like pleasantly surprised by is that Shield Simulator is played by people at every stage of the game, which is great. One of the problems with that, though, is that those 1-star rewards are kind of boring if you've been playing the game for a couple months. So we're changing those up in Season 16, which starts at the end of June. We'll be revamping those progression rewards, and you'll see some stuff that will be a little bit more exciting to long-term players coming into those progression rewards.
Awesome. We took up a bunch of time. Hopefully, we maybe have time for a quick recap, just to start from the top. For roster slots, we're going to be capping them at 1,000 hero points. We're looking at features around that. PvE scaling, we're going to be running a couple tests on events in the future where we turn it off entirely and we see what happens. It's a complex system. We apologize if it goes horribly. In fact, I apologize in advance because we know it'll go horribly, but fingers crossed. Scoring changes, we've updated scoring in PvP, so points are worth more matches. As battle length has gotten longer, this scoring change basically means that you can earn as many points in the same amount of time.
Right.
We've got the 4-star transition. We had a couple changes to drop rates that will be rolling out sometime this summer for 4 stars, and we have a brand new feature with the vault that's going to be coming soon. So Deadpool Daily gets a brand new storefront that you can pull items out of, and increases the drop rate on everything else that's still in there. Health packs, we are doubling from 5 to 10. We have a bug fix for Scarlet Witch, and then we'll be revamping the rewards in the Shield Simulator from starting in Season 16. So I think that's everything.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks again for playing. Continue to let us know what you think. Your feedback is really invaluable to us as we try to figure out what to do to Marvel Puzzle Quest next.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Bye.